is.
Okay, so I am broadcasting, so we'll just wait for a few more people to fill in, and then we can kick things off. I don't know if that was your Slack channel or if it was mine, but I get that like anxiety feeling when I hear that sound.
No.
So bad. All right, so we have a few people in here, so let's get started. You guys throw those questions into the Q&A, and we'll get those questions asked. Eric, for any of us who started that presentation late or haven't watched it yet, can you give us a quick rundown of the basics and how are we supposed to compete against the 1 million people who are also looking for a job right now?
Sure, yeah. So again, hi, thanks for joining. I'm Erik Martin, the Chief Community Officer at Teal. Teal, just for a little background, yeah, we're sort of a platform for career growth, so help people find jobs, land jobs they love, get set up for success. And so we've been fortunate, we've been able to work with, over 1,000, mostly like career professionals over the past few months since the pandemic started. So seeing people, it is hard out there, but seeing people with success. And I think what's really key is understanding your audience, the strategies for how to stand out. It makes a big difference if you're applying to a tiny startup. So like we're 12 people. If you apply to an open position we have, I'm going to read it, or our CEO is going to read, he's going to read it. If you're applying to a job at Eisen, a bigger company, that has a applicant tracking system, their application, their resume is never going to be read by a human being. The sort of applicant tracking system, the keyword filtering is going to make that first pass, and only then someone in the talent department may check it out for a few seconds. So it really depends on sort of what type of company you're applying to. Also, networking matters quite a bit. We see people get jobs all the time where they don't have any company, where they're just applying on to, and these are good jobs too. Like we had a member who got a job at eBay for a position that on paper they were not qualified for, based on the description in the job posting, but they applied and were able to sort of through the process convince that they were the right person. So it does happen, but it certainly helps if you have a referral, or if you have someone who's recommended you or referred you as well. So I think the key to standing out is just really understand like what is unique that you're bringing. What's your sort of unique skill set, and especially getting really good at understanding what your narrative is. Being able to communicate that concisely, whether it's in person, whether it's over email, whether you're DMing someone on Instagram or messaging them on LinkedIn or sending them a cold email. If you have to start, someone else is going to.
Sorry, I was on mute because there's house construction going on next door. Perfect day for it. What I was saying is, does the same advice apply if someone is looking to switch industries? Because now they're not only competing against the people in that industry, they're now trying to, break into this new career. So is there any other specific tips for someone who's moving industries?
Yeah, so we deal with a lot of people who are switching industries, either because, their industry's been badly affected, people transitioning out of hospitality, out of, travel, fashion, some of these hard-hit industries, or whether they know, this current path they're in isn't the right thing for them long-term. I think it's even more important, the job that narrative has to do to sort of show why this skills and expertise developed in this other industry, here's how they're relevant to this job that I can do here. So, there's more of a burden on you to prove and to show that, how those skills translate. Don't assume that the other person is going to have enough context to understand why what you did in a different industry is impressive. We see this all the time when people are applying to roles, or even when people are applying to jobs at Teal or other places I've worked, where I know enough to understand, like, hey, actually what they did in that previous position is really impressive and those skills are relevant, but if I didn't happen to know industry, I wouldn't have been able to tell, because they didn't communicate it on paper or in person. So, it's your job to sort of communicate why these skills I picked up in a different industry totally makes sense to help me do a good job in this role.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I actually participated in the Teal Career Services Program. Teal was awesome, guys, and they let folks who were laid off during COVID use their program for free, and it was so helpful and great. So I'd love to just, hear more about Teal and what you guys are up to, and maybe some of the services that our folks here can take advantage of. Sure.
Yeah. So, Teal, we believe that, people are switching jobs, and there's not really a place where, you can sort of build a community and keep track of your skills and experiences and sort of career growth, no matter who your employer happens to be at any given time. So we wanted to create a platform, a company, a community that stayed with you, from your first job to your last. Right now we're focusing on people who are looking for work, and especially people that are transitioning. So we have a program it's a 4-week, sort of live on Zoom group coaching program that'll help you, come up with tactics for your there's some tools, templates, things that'll be useful, but there's also, I think the most value is in the, so, looking for a job is hard. It's stressful. It, touches on things in our identity. It has to do with, there's stigmas around being unemployed. There's stress and uncertainty around burdens. So it's hard to go through it alone. So with Teal, we put you together with a cohort, and then with a broader community of over 1,000 other Teal members that are there and help each other out, and you just know you're not alone. So people will talk about, like, oh, I thought I had a really great interview, but I never heard back from this recruiter. Like, that sucks. I wish it didn't happen, but it does. So, but hearing from other people who are also talented and experienced that it happens to them too, like, it just helps to not alone, and that there's nothing wrong with you, that it's hard out there. I mean, if you're super qualified and jobs you're applying to really carefully, you're not going to hear back from 75% of them. That's a lot of rejection. That's a lot of getting ghosted. That's a lot of not getting a response, and that's hard. I mean, unless your profession is in sales or something, you're used to that, and even then, it's different when it's about you. So just knowing that you're not alone, and that's normal, and that seeing other people in sort of the Teal community that are getting jobs, or seeing people that, hey, I know that person. I worked with her in our group class. She's talented. She's having a hard time, but then seeing someone actually land a job that they're really excited about after putting in the hard work, it really helps. So we believe community is a big part of it, and whether it's with Teal or just with friends or family or former colleagues, really don't try to do this by yourself. It's too hard. I know that this pandemic makes it easier for people to talk about being unemployed and easier to look for, because now everyone has surely knows a lot of people that are talented that got laid off through situation beyond their control. So I hope it erases some of the stigma around being unemployed, but it's too hard to do alone.
Yeah, I totally agree. Natalie on the chat is saying, I always say job searching is like dating, especially with the ghosting. It's so true. I mean, I've been ghosted so many times, and it's so hard to take, but you said, you're not alone, and everyone's going through the same thing. And, I think Teal services are great to take advantage of, because it really helps you, have that community and, learn how to get past that kind of ghosting and, find different people who are going through the same thing. So yeah, I think that's really great advice. So guys, if there's anything else, feel free to throw it in the chat, but otherwise we have a couple more minutes until the next session. You all have a break. I would love a break. I am sweating from all of this technical difficulties. So with that, if there's no other questions, thank you, Erik, so much for being here with us. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you didn't happen to see that presentation, it is fully uploaded now, so that will be on the replay section of the site, and also be sending out a link to everyone with the full list of everyone's presentation. So thank you again so much, Erik. This advice is great. I really encourage you all to check out Teal and learn more about it and get involved. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.